Welcome to Raising Extreme Athletes Uncensored. This is your reality check and home for uncensored, trusted advice and stories from the trailblazers who came before us. Because it takes a strategic village to raise an extreme pro athlete. This is your village. Today, we're going to be talking about talent and why it is overrated. That's right, talent is overrated. I'm Marina, your host, mother of two aspiring rock climbers and wife to an extreme athlete. Let's figure out why is talent so overrated and not really the only thing that you really need to get into the sport and really make it. Let's talk about talent. Jeff Bezos, the creator and starter of Amazon.com, has said it many times that talent can actually become a curse. The reality is that yes, you do need talent to get started, right? You need to have a little bit of that it factor, and that it factor usually is the talent, right? It's like the foundation. But talent alone can really hinder an athlete, or anyone, to be honest with you. It's not only with becoming an athlete, it's in anything you do. For one thing, when a kid has talent, too much talent, which is never a bad thing, but it's how they manage it, right? Being humble about it really can be that next step, because a lot of times kids that do have that talent, they become way too cocky. Okay, and that, first of all, it's an ugly trait, right? Bragging, you have some bragging rights, but come on, you don't want to be cocky, because what? That also starts to completely take over your mind, thinking that you are the shit, and then you don't put in the work. And eventually, the lack of the work catches up to the person with the talent. That's just how it is, right? So we, as the parents, the guardians, the coaches, we need to keep their head and their feet planted on the ground, because talented people who sit on their laurels versus the ones that are actually fucking out there working their asses off to do better, to be better, will eventually be beaten out by the work ethic of the ones that don't have as much talent. And let me tell you, the ones that have the talent and the work ethic, those are the ones that are nonstop. Those are the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, the Michael Phelps, because they know that they had the talent, but they worked their fucking ass off to continue. Okay, go look at any backstory and you will see the work that goes behind the talent that we look at and be like, wow, they're born with it. They're not. They're not born with it. So when your kids do really good, we definitely need to say, hey, yeah, you did good. But it's the difference here being like, yeah, you're really great versus, why you did really well? Because you trained a lot of time. You put in the time for the training. You did a little bit better than last time because you worked on that particular weakness. You worked on that particular skill. You worked a little bit harder on that particular technique, and it paid off. Instead of focusing on and saying, hey, yeah, you're really great, which means not a whole lot, right? But when you start to focus on the work that they put in behind being great, that's the reality, right? The thing is with focus is that if you only focus, the thing is with talent, when you only focus on that, they will think that that's the only thing they've got. And you can't really quantify or even point your finger exactly what it means to have talent, right? Eventually, you will need to bring in that work ethic, right? Because it's kind of like when you first fall in love and you have this whirlwind love affair and this passion and this lust, right? That's the talent. Like when you find the talent and the sport that it goes together with, it's this passionate affair, right? But eventually, with all relationships, and this is a relationship, the training, the sport, your kid with the sport, that's a relationship. Whatever relationship event you have, eventually you need to start working at it, right? And that's just how it is. You work hard at your relationship if you're married. You work hard at relationships with your kids. You work hard at relationships with your friends. You work hard at relationships with your bosses, right? You work hard at those relationships, okay? Even if they were at one point this powerful, incredible connection, you need to keep it up, right? It's the same thing with a talent. You need to keep that work up. You need to focus on the work behind it, right? I remember when my parents just had their 50th anniversary, and when I was talking to one of my friends, I was expecting her to say, wow, that's amazing, congratulations. Instead, she's like, wow, they put in a lot of work to get there. And you know what? That's with everything. Yeah, they did. They put in a lot of work to be in a 50-year marriage. Okay? It takes work. It's the same thing when you have the talent, the connection, and that click with a sport. Now the work goes in. So we parents, we have to keep it low key, right? We have to keep your kids low key, yet absolutely still reward them, still congratulate them, but don't put them on that pedestal. Wow, you're so great. Absolutely not. You could certainly say, yeah, that training that you've been putting that extra training in, that's been the reason why you're here, right? That's what it's about, right? We have to be the ones to keep them grounded in a positive way. Okay. And now once they've come off, that pedestal and that I'm great thing. All right. Now let's continue what we're doing and maybe take it up a notch. One more thing, 1% better, or whatever. Okay. It's important because it's easy to forget all the hard work that goes behind where you got to. And you need to remind them of that hard work. You need to remind them it's not just talent. They actually put in that work. And that's actually the most rewarding benefit, when you are rewarded for your hard work. Okay? That it's just the way it is. There have been way too many studies showing people who will just have talent, and if they don't actually work hard, it will go away and it becomes their nemesis. And you don't want that, right? So the kids who have that grit, that persistence, that drive, those are the ones that are actually going to be the ones that are in it for the long term as well, and probably get the most fulfillment out of it. And we as parents, we can help them do that. And we also feel the reward from it, right? Because we put in our own hard work into making it happen. I would love to hear your story, story about talent, about the hard work, that training, that reinforcement. I would love to hear what you guys do about that. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a review, share it with your friends, and I am here. Remember, it's a strategic village, right? And that is the reason why I built this, so that we have that village to fall back on.